So first we had the Boots Christmas ad with Jaguar and Boots, the terribly white balcony actress who has decided that Father Christmas is a lazy, fat, old white man. Then we had Jaguar. Obviously, it's not a Christmas ad, but they did manage to spontaneously combust their entire brand just before the Christmas season. Now, Tesco has decided to go woke with its latest advertising for the festive season. Watch this.
Traditional is just the way to go.
What about a dinosaur with fairy lights?
I love a snowy, glittery winter wonderland tree.
I'd like to Christmas that.
No, yours is too white. You need some colour.
Does this not make you feel like Christmas core?
Gingerbread house, candy canes, that is what makes a Christmas tree.
Firstly, they're straight out of central casting, right? Not people I think who really shop in Tesco, actually. But you saw there, didn't you? Too white. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they wouldn't last 5 minutes round our way. They'd run out of time. I will tell you, you and I can have a laugh at this because we think of it being, Tesco's done it, Tesco's responsible, Tesco will have the fallout, same as Jaguar. But I think the lesson from Anheuser-Busch is really different with the Dylan Mulvaney situation. What happens is these managers come in, they make appallingly bad decisions. The shareholders carry the can, but the managers get promoted to businesses elsewhere. And I think that actually, in some respects, Tesco is the victim because the managers that are doing this know that this is unappealing to the public, but don't care because ultimately when things fail, like with the Bud Light, and by the way, they were selling, I think it was 12 cans of Bud Light for £8 at one point. Dylan Mulvaney had destroyed the brand to such an extent, but it doesn't matter because it's the shareholder that carries the can. It's not the management. So we are now in our corporate world incentivizing failure, incentivizing the destruction of our major companies and financially rewarding those responsible. Let me tell you, the people that destroyed Bud Light made a lot of money doing it and all walked off to brilliant jobs afterwards. And Dylan Mulvaney was laughing all the way to the bank. The people that carried the can were the workers at Anheuser-Busch and the shareholders of Anheuser-Busch. They had nothing to do with any of this. So once again, Tesco's know that this is not going to be appealing. It doesn't matter because it's only the Tesco shareholders and the Tesco ordinary staff that have to suffer. The management that do it get to move on to their next woke business, next woke job, and probably get a big pay rise.
I know, and the thing is, you're so right to point out that the executives are actually doing this on purpose, Andre. I think that is such a critical point. Now, I would argue that there needs to be management that have some balls and tell their ridiculous woke advertising agency they are not going to run this terrible commercial, but they are doing it on purpose because this is actually about social engineering. And if you look at the Jaguar commercial, for example, and you listen to the guy behind what is, I think, one of the most catastrophic rebrands in history, actually. This is going to go down as a marketing flop, a bit like, when they changed the flavor of Coca-Cola in the 1980s. But this guy doesn't care about cars. He's not working at Jaguar because he cares about cars. He's working at Jaguar because he cares about social engineering. And I think we've got him talking about that.
And at Jaguar, we're passionate about our people, and we're committed to fostering a diverse, inclusive, and unified culture that is representative not only of the people who use our products, but in a society in which we all live. A culture where our employees can bring their authentic selves to work. And we're on a transformative journey of our own, driven by a belief in diversity, inclusion, creativity, policy, and most importantly, action. We've established over 15 DEI groups, such as Pride, who are here tonight in the back. Thank you guys for coming. Women in engineering and neurodiversity matters. We've launched major policy revisions such as transitioning at work to drive equity and support for our communities, embracing individuality as our superpower.
So it is social engineering, isn't it?
Dan, can I ask you a question? If
Please.
your car was knackered and he pulled up to help, you wouldn't have much confidence, would you? I mean, how is that a car manufacturer?
He don't drive a car.
I accept he's probably...
He should be on stage at Eurovision,
he's probably
right?
twisted some nuts in his time. He's probably twisted some nuts in his time, but not necessarily of the car. I mean, come on. It is what it is. This is a joker who is abusing a major British manufacturer for his own profit.
Yeah, but they're letting him, though, Andre. They are letting him.
Correct. Well, I'll tell you something. I'm a shareholder, as I say, in my local brewery. And if they behaved like that, believe me, I'd be at the shareholder meeting. I'll tell you something. If I held shares in Jaguar or I held shares in any of these companies, there would be absolutely no chance that you would get away without a roasting at the shareholders meeting. Because, people, Dan, are hoping to retire on the money that they've invested in these businesses. And they're gonna get to age 65, 70. They're gonna open up their envelope and find that the money has been lost by idiots like that guy. I mean, look, I just repeat my comment. How can that be the boss of a car company? The man clearly knows nothing about engineering. He clearly isn't somebody who could repair a car. He's just a woke lefty who's bunkered himself into that position. And if you want to know why corporate Britain and corporate America is so bad, it's because idiots like that are taking over our great engineering firms.
Andre, what are we meant to do, though, about this scourge of anti-white racism now creeping into the mainstream thanks to these corporations? Because Shoa Ando being hired for calling the Buckingham Palace balcony terribly white. Now, you just know if someone had said terribly black, that'd be cancelled, that'd be finished. They certainly wouldn't be being hired by a major corporation. Then you have Tesco talking about a Christmas tree being too white, but we know what they're saying. We know the subliminal messaging in that advertising. It's really shocking to me that anti-white racism now seemingly is accepted in the world of advertising. But first, we've partnered with Gundry MD to share this information with you. Would you believe me if I told you inside your pantry right now is one of the healthiest foods on the planet? Yep, it's true. And it's not some weird, trendy superfood. Spoiler alert, it's olive oil. You've probably used it for cooking, but there are countless ways to use olive oil to help yourself look and feel younger. For example, olive oil is a natural way to help you achieve a more youthful appearance. Besides helping you look younger on the outside, it's a fantastic tool for your insides as well. According to Dr. Stephen Gundry, a famous cardiothoracic surgeon, nutrition expert, and health advocate, you should get as much high-quality olive oil into your daily routine as possible. Whether it's taking a shot of it daily or keeping a bottle of it in your bathroom medicine cabinet. But what kind of olive oil is best for your health, I hear you ask? Well, any olive oil can give you some benefits. But if you're looking to get the best results, it matters a lot which one you pick. And the olive oil industry is really huge. You can tell, you will have seen in the supermarkets, so many brands. And you can bet they're not all made with the consumer in mind. And many brands may even cut corners one way or another to increase profits. So when Dr. Gundry came to that realization, he was rightly appalled. But some olive oils are so powerful, it may only take a few tablespoons a week to see these incredible health benefits. So, how can you tell between an olive oil that can be a health booster and one which isn't up to par? In an effort to answer that question for us, Dr. Gundry has decided to take a stand and release his personal research and findings. This video has gone viral since its release, and it's important you see it so you can start benefiting immediately. So you can watch the video right now by heading to getolive1.com/outspoken, or you can just click in the link in the description box below. I'll repeat it for you though. That's getolive1.com/outspoken, or just click on the link in the description box below. People who have taken his advice have shared their results with him, saying the olive oil they bought after learning his simple rules have helped change their life for the better. So make sure you go to getolive1.com/outspoken or click on the link in the description box below this video. But now, back to the show.
It's amazing, isn't it? Because if Lee Jasper was sat here now, he would say that racism, by definition, is when somebody's racially discriminated against by a majority towards a minority. But he also says that a discrimination by a minority towards the majority does not qualify as racism, and you can't prosecute it or call it out. Well, the slight problem with that is that would make the apartheid South African regime not racist. So it's obviously stupid. The reality is we have welcomed people to this country, including my family. My dad's Greek and my mum's Irish. We've welcomed people to this country, and unfortunately, we have begun to venerate them as better. Look, I'm going to say this to you. I've said it plenty of times before. I don't have any desire to learn anything from Somalian culture. I think Eritrea is a dump. And, you know, honestly, I think the reason why people leave Pakistan is because Pakistan's crap. Now, if you disagree with that, then you're welcome to live in Somalia, Eritrea, or Pakistan. As I always say, my grandmother thought Greece was rubbish. Her brother thought it wasn't, so he remained in Greece and she moved to Britain. I'm sick to death of listening to how great other places were. But I'll tell you the most hypocritical thing of them all, Dan. Didn't we listen to how marvellous Africa was until we suggested people move to Rwanda to have their asylum process?
And then it's the third world.
That's the worst dump you've ever come across. And you know something? I'll leave you with this as we draw kind of to the end of this show. But I had a friend of mine who's Ukrainian, and he watched the King's speech and was, fairly bemused by the whole kings and queens and sirs and dames and all this sort of thing. But at the end, he made a point, and I'm afraid he was right in what he said. The choir came on, and he said, this choir has been picked because it has the smallest number of white children of any choir that applied. Now, we see it as diversity. He saw it as, well, hang on a second. Why is it that somebody's gone, oh, let's have them because there are very few white children in the choir? That is racism, and it discriminates. And he says, look, in Eastern Europe, when they want to ethnically cleanse people, what they first of all do is ban their history. They traduce their culture, pull down the statues, start locking up their leaders, discriminate against them in housing, discriminate against them in university placements and scholarships, remove them from the TV and put in new people. Now, I'm not saying that Britain is deliberately ethnically cleansing white people, but what I will say to you is if you look at the tactics of people in Eastern Europe when they want to discriminate and ethnically cleanse a particular group, every single thing that they do is happening in Britain. Statues pulled down, history banned, language mocked, discrimination in university, positive discrimination in terms of government jobs being given to new people rather than the indigenous population, housing being prioritised. You can no longer turn on your television or radio and see anybody that looks like you. All of those things are happening in Britain. Now, we're probably doing it because we're trying to be nice, but nonetheless, it is sending the message to my nieces and nephews that being a white person in Britain is a bad thing. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And ultimately, it's going to come to a point where we can't be discriminated against forever, and we will have to find our own new homeland. Just an astonishing thought. Thankfully, we're not there yet.
No, indeed. But I think you're completely right to bring it out to that macro point of view, because there is something really chilling about thinking, okay, this woman's a hero for calling the balcony terribly white. And now Tesco, our local high street supermarket, is going to run a Christmas ad talking about things being too white. It's like white is bad. That is the message that is being sent. But Andre Walker, my goodness, we've covered it all. We've covered it all. I am so delighted to have you in the YouTube space. Yes, you go and finish your beer, but while you're doing that, everyone's got to go and subscribe to Andre Walker's brilliant YouTube channel where he's doing excellent, excellent work. And I'm so glad to have you on Outspoken for the first time, Andre. I'm going to have to come on the Andre Walker channel soon if I get it.
Anytime.
Andre Walker, thank you so much. We'll speak very soon. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.